Hello and welcome to TC Josh. My name is Logan Zero, and we're back at it again once again with some Union Arena. But today I am going to help you be good at your super pre-release, so that way you do not screw up anything. You don't forget any of your steps, any of your phases. Really ruin your chances of winning your super pre-release. So if you're ready for that, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, so that way you can get some more Union Arena content. I will be making a lot of videos this weekend when I go to my super pre-releases, hopefully with all the winter promos that I come back with. Anyways, so starting the game. How to mulligan. Mulliganing in this game is slightly different than Digimon and One Piece if you're regularly used to that. 50 card deck. You need your 3 action points instead of your 10 Dawn. You will draw 7 cards. 7 cards. And if you don't like these 7 cards because you're like, wow, I don't have enough zeros, I don't have any ones, I don't have enough 2s, 3s, blah blah blah, whatever it is, you take those 7 cards, you take those 7 cards and you throw them away. You just chuck them, get rid of them, and you draw 7 new ones straight from the top. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. How do I count out 7 still and then draw 6? But yeah, you will take those 7 cards that you originally had, you will place them at the bottom of the deck, and then you'll draw 7 new cards. Wow, this is an arguably worse hand than that last one. That's just luck sometimes, baby. You will take this and you will shuffle your deck. You need to shuffle your deck every single time that you mulligan. You'll draw 7. You will take the 7 that you do not like, put it at the bottom, draw 7 new cards. You will keep that hand, shuffle your deck, and then you will set your life. That is how you do a mulligan. Easy come, easy go. It's pretty simple, right? Draw 7, don't like it, throw it away, draw 7 more. Put them at the bottom, shuffle it all up, put 7 life out. Perfect. Draw phase. Draw phase for first turn player, you do not have one. You only get 1 action point. You get 1. Your opponent, for their first turn, will get 2 action points. Remember that. Your turn 2, you will have a 2nd action point. You will draw on your turn 2. Your opponent will still be at 2 action points. Your turn 3, you will be the first one to be at 3 action points. If you are first and your opponent has 3 action points before you, they cheated. Call a judge, let them know. Make sure you rectify that, because that could be one of the easiest ways for some people to try and cheat, especially if you're brand new to this. So watch out for that. Make sure that none of that happens. On your first turn, you will only have 1 action point. There are 2 things you can do with this 1 action point. You can either just tap it if you wanted to and get an extra draw for your turn and then pass your turn. Say you did have a really bad hand like this and you didn't have this 0, right? And you needed to find yourself a 0. That draw might be the most useful thing you could have. But if you do have a 0 that you can play, remember that when you play a character, if it does not state otherwise, or a field card, not spell, that it will come in suspended. At the end of your turn, it will unsuspend. We will get there, but yes, it comes in suspended unless stated otherwise on the card text. So make sure that you do that. Those are the 2 things you can do with your first turn action point. You can either tap to get a draw, or you can play a 0 cost character or field spell if you have them. The next phase, literally after your draw phase, and will be your movement phase. This is probably arguably the most unused phase in this game. And this is the phase that will determine if you are good or if you are just mediocre. Because in your movement phase, say you have just 1 energy, right? And you have just a 1 energy card you can play. Bam. Cool. Bring it back to your hand. Say you had 2 out and you're like, well, 3 is good, but I have a 2 energy here, so I could just play that. That'd be nice. So I want to promote this because I want to try and get some blockers or damage on board. Perfect. Cool. You still have 2. Promoting shunt blockers, even in early steps, if you can consistently keep energy on your backline, is a very useful thing. Remember that during your stages, is if you have enough energy to get yourself to 3 so you can play another card, and you don't need this one because you don't need 4 energy for whatever reason at that point in time. You don't need 4. You can wait till next turn because you'll have 3. You could play this 3. You could also move this up. and bam, there you go. But also remember, there are characters that have a keyword that is called step, meaning if they were in the front line during your movement phase, you can move them back to your energy line if you want to. Very useful, very handy. Your movement phase is a very important phase. Doesn't have a lot of things to do in it, but remember, promoting out of energy to have yourself chump blockers while retaining energy is what you absolutely need. So just keep that in mind. And after the movement phase, you go into your main phase. Your main phase is where you're basically going to be doing everything. And by everything, I mean everything from playing characters to activating events to raiding onto characters, not events. I'm just showing you. Activating main phase effects, if they have any, like this guy right here. Rest it so that way you can generate extra energy. All of these things will be done during your main phase. Your main phase is basically the bulk of everything, and remember, you only have one. There is no second main phase like there is in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic. This isn't One Piece or Digimon, where your main phase and your attack phase are conjoined, where you can keep doing stuff and playing things while also swinging out if you wanted to. It's not how this works. Prepare all of the things that you want to swing during your main phase, so that way when you move to your attack phase, you are good as gold. Otherwise, you're going to be just kind of up a creek without a paddle because you decided to leave, your 3K in the back when you really wanted to swing it. Make sure that you maybe you wanted to play it up front instead, so that way you have a 3K blocker for the next turn. You never know, things like that. But yeah, that is something you're gonna have to remember for doing your main phase. And from main phase, we have attack phase. Attack phases are going to be another pivotal part of the game, and it will be a part where you're going to have a lot of rulings and things going on. So when attacking effects will happen, when blocking effects will happen. Attacking effects obviously go first, depending on what your character says. When a blocking effects happen, obviously after the block is declared and the action is being performed for when blocking. Damage, there are cards that can do more than one damage at a time, like this Hisoka. Damage for cards, whenever they do them, are checked at the same exact time. So say your opponent did have this Hisoka out and they swung at you. It's 5k, you're not blocking it, right? So you will take the first two cards and you will flip them both at the same exact time. You will reveal both of them. If one of them has a trigger, you pick the trigger, which one goes off first. But both cards are checked first. This is not Digimon, where you check one life at a time, and if you have a kill spell, say that this was in your life and they checked it first, doesn't matter. They're checked at the same exact time, so we'll just swap this one out. Bam. They checked these two, but say this is one, doesn't matter. They both go off. You can then kill the Hisoka afterwards and add the Ichigo to your hand. But yeah, damage is checked simultaneously, so yes, you will still take the 2 damage. Remember that, so that way people know. So that way, if you are playing the Hunter x Hunter deck and you do swing Hisoka and your opponent's like, no, 1 life at a time, that's not how it works. You flip both of them. You also get to choose which lives you want. You do not have to go from 1 to 7. You say this is the first card, and you swing and you're like, I actually don't want you to take life. I want you to take life 4 and life 7. Okay, cool. 4 and 7. Perfect. Beautiful. And then we will flip them both simultaneously. All right, you get one trigger. This one does nothing. Beautiful. But yeah, you get to pick which life goes first, which life goes second, when damage is being dealt. Impact is also a effect that you need to remember and know. Impact is whenever you will swing. If your opponent blocks that impact, right? Say this is how this is all built. They swing out. You decide, I don't want both damage to go through. I'm going to block it, so I only take 1 damage. I will flip this top card, or whatever card your opponent decides they want to swing into. that is perfectly fine. But remember, it has damage too. You will still take 1 damage, no matter what. You will always take 1 damage. Impact 1 means 1 damage will go through no matter what. So if you block, you're always going to be taking 1 damage. That's the only kind of like ups and downs for this, is that you're gonna have to take at least 1 damage with an impact character, unless you have impact negate, which I don't believe is in either of these decks. So just kind of, no, I think Ichigo has impact negate, but yeah, just remember that when playing, impact will just go through everything. So if you don't want to just, lose character for no reason, don't block. How to win. Winning the game is not, again, like Digimon or One Piece. Once all 7 lives are checked, the game is over. As soon as the last life is checked, the game is over. It is not One Piece, not Digimon, where you have to swing again after you've gotten all 7 out. Nope. As soon as you have all 7 life taken, the game is done. That's it. That's how it works. The only way that doesn't happen is if you have an event in your life that is Bonkai. I think it's Bonkai, right? Yeah, it's Bonkai. Where is Bonkai? Bonkai. I don't know. Can't find it. Here it is. Bonkai. If Bonkai is the last life in yours, you place top card of your deck to your life. It's the only heal effect. Every deck will have these in the future for every set, so just kind of remember, that's why it's called final. It is the last life. You will get a heal, and yep, that's just something you have to remember. Remember, you can only play 4 finals in your deck, so in the future when you're playing the full card game and not just the decks, if somebody has more than 4 finals, call a judge. They are cheating. But yeah, so after you've swung out, and your opponent's blocked you, done whatever, it is your end phase. All of the end phase effects trigger. If you did activate this guy, he actually retires during the end of the main phase, so he would be trashed before that. But some of them do trigger at the end of the turn, will trash themselves. Your characters are set to active, so that way you have blockers. So do not be afraid to swing out, even if it's a 1500, 1000k, whatever it is. Just swing it, swing the character. It's perfectly fine. You might get a life out of it. You might force a block from their 4k, their 3k, their 5k, whatever. Just swing it out. It's better than not, trying. They might think, whatever, who cares? Just do it. Try and get yourself some extra lives out there. But yeah, after your end phase, all of your stuff will be set back to active. Even energy line cards will be set to active. Also, remember, 8 card maximum. You can only have 8 cards in your hand at the end of your turn. So if you have more than that, you need to trash cards. So just keep an eye on your hand size, keep an eye on your opponent's hand size, so that way nobody is cheating. I think I've pretty much gone through all of the basic nuances of things that are going on. One thing I do really want to touch on, so people know this very well: raiding. If you do not raid onto the card you're supposed to, so if you don't raid this Ichigo on top of Ichigo, even if it's the 0, 3, 4, whatever other cost of Ichigo, if you do not raid onto it, none of these effects will work. You do not get any of their effects. Remember that. Remember that, so that way your opponent does not get away with just plain raid characters for 4 and getting to activate all this stuff. Doesn't work that way. They do not get them unless they have raided their card. You need to remember that. Remember that for yourself. Remember that for your opponents. That way you do not get cheated. Double block. Double block works if they had something less than 5k. Say they were at 1500, they swung, you block. You immediately restand after the block. That is how double block works. That way you get to block over again. Energy. Need to remember and know how much energy you are producing, so that way you know how many cards you can play. And if you check a raid card and you do not fulfill the energy requirement, you do not get to play the raid card. That's just how it works. Events will have triggers in life also. These things, like this one says, to sideline a character. It doesn't matter about BP or anything. Doesn't matter about cost, none of that stuff. Just a kill spell, just get rid of whatever it is. These are just some of the things that you need to remember while playing the card game, so that way you can keep yourself in the game and, you know, possibly do better than you would hope. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful and, you know, you could kind of see what's going on with it. If there are any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a great time at Super Pre-Release starting tomorrow. I will be going to one hopefully at 11 o'clock in the morning. When I get back, I'm gonna try and make a video of the decks and everything in person one, show you kind of what it is. I'm gonna try and have a match with my wife, see, you know, how they play and everything, because we'll have another game, another Super Pre-Release later on in the day. Hope you guys are having fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this card game. I can't wait to make more videos on all of this, and I hope you guys do as well. Until next time, keep collecting shiny cardboards, keep collecting shiny cards, and I will smell you later.